Hello, friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network. I'm Mike Fina. Today, I'm extremely proud and privileged to have Lisa Field, President of the Labor Guild, on with us today to learn a little bit more about the Labor Guild, its services, and it's been servicing and celebrating the labor management community since 1945. So, Lisa, thank you very much for joining the network today.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I'm very excited to be here.
Exactly. And I have to give a big shout out to Andrew Stady for getting us connected. Back in the day, it's been a while. When I first started the Union Labor Advisory Network, we started collaborating and sharing some information and stories and really saw what the Labor Guild was all about. And I said, we have to get connected. So I'm very thankful to have you on to learn a little bit more about your background, history, and experience and what the Labor Guild is all about. So I'll let you have at it and learn a little bit more about yourself and how you got affiliated with the Labor Guild.
So I have a long history in labor. Like many people, my family is a labor family. My grandfather was actually a steward for the United Steelworkers kind of back in the day. And when I was a little girl, my mother used to work at the bank. Then she became a postal employee, part of their union. And my dad worked for the postal employees as well. So on Saturday mornings, we would be at my grandparents' house. And my grandfather would take me down on his errands. And I actually was part of his labor office hours where in those days it was guys, right? The men would come in and talk to him about their issues. We even had a little swear jar, so to speak. So that's where I learned some colorful language. And so I kind of grew up on doing political stuff with my grandfather, walking the lines for not only his union, but other ones if they were out on strike or they were doing any sort of picketing. And then when I grew up, I mean, every family kind of wants their kids to kind of move it forward. My parents were both part of the postal unions. I went to college, as did my sisters, and I went into management. Left management after a few years. I ended up becoming an AFSCME member in public higher education, worked my way up. I ended up being president of a statewide local. I went to go work on staff for the council for AFSCME, and I did a couple of stints. I went to SEIU, and now I'm with the Massachusetts Nurses Association. But my affiliation with the Labor Guild was back when I was an AFSCME member. And the Labor Guild used to run our locals elections. So I knew them. I lived in a different part of the state. So I just knew of the Labor Guild. They were great resources. Many of our members went to classes because the Labor Guild had in-person educational workshops. And so we had a lot of our members go through there. And then when I moved back more towards Boston, I actually became involved. I volunteered over at the Labor Guild, got on the board, and now I'm the president. So that's kind of my labor history, kind of done it all.
It's very impressive. And again, through the family and just understanding what a great labor union job is all about and what you're fighting for. And I know you mentioned some stuff with the Mass Nurses Association that's going on as well. It is a continuous fight for better benefits, supporting those members and everything that employees do to help serve others. And could you give me a little bit of, again, I know you have so many different educational resources with the Labor Guild, some of the classes that go on. Who are some of the people or how does that work? I know you have your calendar of events. How do you put some of those things together? Or love to learn a little bit more about that as well.
Sure. So one thing that happened during COVID is that we pivoted from in-person classes to online. So we actually have a labor management school is the deal. We run two semesters, one in the fall, also one in the spring. And then we have a couple of terms within it, if that makes sense, like session 1, session 2. And what we do is we really listen to not only our students, we have a student advisory committee. We also talk to the locals when we're out and about and ask locals, other unions, members of management, also neutrals, arbitrators, kind of what do you think that we should offer in the spring semester? What do you think we should offer in the fall semester? That type of thing. Our practitioners, our instructors are all experts. So they're either labor leaders, labor educators. We even have management side of the house do some workshops as well. And again, we have actual arbitrators, neutrals, arbitrators who teach arbitration classes. We run 5-week classes. So it runs for 5 weeks, 2-hour sessions. So it's about 10-hour contact hours. Like I said, it's totally on Zoom now. It's online, which makes it so much more easier for not only folks in Massachusetts to join in, after the job, come home, get the kids ready, have some dinner and kind of sit down to do it. But also we have students now from all over the country now that come to our classes. So some of the classes, like I said, our practitioners are all volunteers. They're experts within their field. We've had arbitrators teach arbitration. We have, trying to think, we also have some folks that teach about communication, about leadership skills, collective bargaining, grievance. We have a basic grievance class as well as an advanced grievance class. We've had interesting things like hot topics. That's my class. I teach burning issues of the day, 5-week class, and we talk about everything from, what was happening with the UPS, what's happening within the public sector, the Amazon organizing. We run organizing classes. So really the whole gambit of it. And so for the 5-week session, it's kind of more down and dirty stuff, right? You really kind of dig into it. Like with basic grievances, they actually split up into teams. Someone represents management. Someone represents, group represents labor. You have to present, your side of the case. And then the instructor actually is kind of the arbitrator ruling on the case is kind of what ends up happening. So real hands-on. We've kind of, again, there's so many ways you can now do it through Zoom. Then we also offer some shorter workshops. We have Patty Legault-Frank, who is terrific. She's one of the country's leading experts on bylaws and election procedures for unions and parliamentary procedures. And she runs short workshops. So they're very intense workshops, like 1-day workshop on how to run a proper union election. Couple of sessions on bylaws, couple of sessions on parliamentary procedures. We've done 1-day workshops, couple of hours about wage theft. And then we open, and all of our classes are open to anyone and everyone. You don't have to belong to a union. For the 5-week sessions, it's a $50 for the 5 weeks, but we offer scholarships. And that's part of the generosity of both individual members who, individual people join us as individual members, but we also have organizational dues. So unions, law firms will join us as organizational dues, and part of that money goes into a scholarship fund. So we don't turn anyone away, because of cost. All they have to do is apply for a scholarship, and they're able to take one of our classes. We also have in-person workshops. We're having a big symposium on September 20th at our local pipe fitters in Boston. We're using their union hall. They're so gracious to donate that space to us for this event. And we're having a whole gambit, everything from on the employer side, their employee assistance plans. We're having private groups that actually, if I have a family member who's not a union member, how do I get them help? We're having 12-step programs. We're having a keynote speaker, Jim Wahlberg. One of the Wahlberg brothers is in recovery himself. He's published a book. He's going to be our keynote speaker. We're going to have an educational, the Mass Nurses Association is going to talk about, from an educational point of view, what is substance use disorder. And then the firefighters are going to offer some Narcan training. So things like that we do in person. And again, we have a grant from the Catholic Health Foundation. We have a generous family of a past gilder that want to remain anonymous, but they're helping us out with some of the costs. So the entire session is free. All of this is free, and that's in person. So we do a whole gambit of education. In January, we're planning on doing a human trafficking symposium. Again, bringing in law enforcement, bringing in the DAs, bringing in some of the unions that do some of this work, some of the community groups that do some of the, what is it? How can we identify it? So we really try to bring people together to talk about some of these really tough issues and challenge all of us within the labor movement on, how we can do our part to address some of these societal things, kind of what people are going through.
That's great, Lisa. And I know you mentioned it in that conversation too, is about some of the donors. How do people donate, or if they want to support you or from a financial contribution standpoint? Are they just going to your website and registering or donating? Just like a union or an individual would? Excuse me.
Yep. So they go to our website, and I know you have it. You're going to put it up on the thing for us. So if they just go to our website, you can become a member, and it will bring you to a membership page. And then you have a choice. If you're an individual, you can join. And there's a few tiers. We have, if you're a student or a retiree, it's $20. A basic is $35. And then we have a couple of other ones, a little, if you want to be more generous, we will always take the generosity. And then as part of being an individual member is that we're actually in the process of producing some short videos for content, because not everyone has the opportunity to, have the time to do a 5-week class or a short workshop. I come from the Nurses Association here in Massachusetts. Many of our third shift nurses would love to take stuff, but they just can't. So we're trying to have our paying members some special content that they can click right on and learn some stuff along the way. And then if you're an organization, we also have organizational dues. We also have straight donation page. We also have, if people want to give a donation in memory of a loved one. Again, we're under the Archdiocese of Boston, the Catholic Archdiocese of Boston. Our executive director is a priest. Again, we're open to anyone, but we do have a yearly mass, in people's memory. So we have a whole gambit. And then in December, the first week in December, we have a huge event. This is our big event, and it's called the Cushing-Gavin Awards. And both Cardinal Cushing and Father Gavin were very, very instrumental and supportive of the Labor Guild through our, over 70 years history. And what we do with these award ceremony, it's an in-person dinner at IBEW 103, and we celebrate the best. So right now, nominations just closed. We honor one person from the labor side, one person from management, and then every year it kind of alternates. One year it's an attorney from management. The next year it will be an attorney from labor. This year it's going to be on the management side. And then we honor a neutral. So an arbitrator, or sometimes it's people who are the administrators of Taft-Hartley's, and that type of housing trusts, stuff like that. So that's somebody who's a neutral. And so it's a great day to really celebrate. And so anyone can nominate anyone during the process. Like I said, the nominations just closed. And then the selection committee, it's as exciting as nominating the Pope. I'm not kidding. Picking the Pope. I'm not kidding. They get in a room in the Pastoral Center in Boston. They bring in lunch, and the people who select it are actually all the past winners. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting. I'm not part of that. The staff, the board of the Labor Guild's not part of that. So we all anxiously wait for the smoke to come up, and then we find out we have winners. But it's a great opportunity to really celebrate, because that's what the Labor Guild is all about. We're a neutral ourselves. Our organization is neutral. And everyone is part of the Labor Guild, whether you're labor, management, or a neutral. You really understand how important collective bargaining is in really social justice, right? I mean, unions have built the backbone of the middle class of this country, and it really celebrates collective bargaining. It celebrates both that unions have a role, management has a role. We might not always get along, but we can come together and come up with collective bargaining. And also, collective bargaining is really so important to the foundation of democracy. I mean, if you've ever been to a union meeting, it's certainly a great democratic exercise when folks have different views and come together as to how we're going to move forward within the labor movement. So it's just a really great night. We take donations to help us to defray the cost of it. It's our big fundraiser. We have an ad book, so people can find out more information on our website.
Lisa, thank you so much. And you have such a diverse group of board of directors as well, which I'm sure all lends their advice and guidance, and just in collaborating all together, it makes us all stronger. So I'm so thankful to meet you, to learn a little bit more about you, and to understand what the Labor Guild's all about. With the ULA, obviously the mission and vision is to support, educate, promote union labor in our communities. And you encompass all that with the organization. And I'm so proud to be affiliated. Any way I could help promote and support your causes and some of those educational events that really help others, especially in our labor space. I'm here to help out in any way I can. So I'm very thankful for everything that you do.
Thank you. We really so appreciate collaborating with you, and you've been a great partner and supporter, and vice versa. I'm kind of back right at you. We try to support the events that you do and share it as well, because we're all in this together.
That's 100%. You hear that, and yeah, ATU. I know the transit. That's all in this together. Some of the different the logos or hashtags that we see, and it really is collaboration and the solidarity of all different union organizations fighting for the same cause, and that's the members and good jobs and wages and opportunities. So any leaving or closing remarks from the Labor Guild and yourself, Lisa? Or again, I just can't thank you enough for everything you've done.
Well, thank you so much as well. And just again, for folks to kind of check us out, we have a YouTube. You can come to our website, thelaborguild.com. We're on Facebook. We also have YouTube. We have some videos that are on. We had some great conversations with SAG-AFTRA about what's happening with their labor dispute. But check us out and leave us a little tag. And so we would love to find out what other people are doing as well. So feel free to message us and introduce yourselves. And we're happy to support you as well.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate all your time and look forward to future collaborations and promoting all your causes and getting you on the resource, one of our ULA's resource link as well. I know I talked to Andrew, so we'll get you all set up on that too. So we can just kind of share the message in a much bigger, broader way.
Terrific. Thank you so much and happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. So I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, Lisa. Take care.